Welcome to Happy Adults. I'm so proud of you joining us again to become a happier adult. Remember that I can give you the tools, but you're the ones that has to put those tools into effect. Today, my friend Rachel has asked for information on how to talk to your parents about a will, and also a little bit more about wills and trusts for you and for your parents. So the first thing to do is you have to address it with your parents. Start out with asking them if they have a will or trust. And if they say, yes, we do, then ask them, are you comfortable with sharing with me what's included in that? Because when you do pass, I don't want there to be any surprises. I want it to be a situation where everybody already knows what's going to happen and there's no problems with it. If they say no, then you talk to them about seeing if they can set up a meeting to go over what they want their wishes to be. Now, if they say yes, they're willing to set up a meeting, ask them who they would like included in that meeting. So that may be all of their children, that may be a brother or sister that they're going to be giving assets to, and then set up a meeting with those people involved if those people are willing to go. So if you have everybody there, basically you're going to hash out the problems that will happen anyway after the fact. So losing a person in your life is devastating. If you love them, it is devastating. So now, imagine having that devastation and now having to deal with issues of people fighting because they don't know what the wishes were, people having different viewpoints of what the person's wishes are, and the probate system. So let's talk about the options that you have with an end-of-life estate planning situation. So the first one is a will. So what a will is it is a written legal document stating what the person's wishes are. Once you write it and it is signed and it is witnessed, you cannot just change it by writing on it again, okay? It has to be redone. No just sign-ins, okay? If you have under $100,000 in assets, this might be something that would work for you, because going into probate, you are able to do a probate affidavit, which goes rather quickly if you have more than $100,000 in assets. So any kind of home, cars, or a business, any of that, then it would have to go through probate. So let's talk about that. Probate is an actual court going through the court system. So when it goes through the court system, we all know how fast those court systems are. Not very. So it may take 6 months to 2 years to go through the probate system. Additionally, there would be probate costs. If there's no executor assigned, then there would be an executor that would be paid out of the estate. All of that would have to take place before any assets are distributed. So imagine if you have a home with a mortgage. Well, going through the probate system, that's 2 years that somewhere the mortgage would need to be paid. Who's going to pay it? None of the assets would be available yet to pay the mortgage. You would have a situation where you couldn't sell that house because it had not gone through the probate system. So a will work for some people, but for most people with assets, a will is not the way to go. What you want to do is have a revocable living trust. Now, a revocable living trust is a trust that is created while you're alive, and it is revocable. You can change it while you're alive, but then when you pass, it becomes irrevocable. It cannot be changed after you pass. What that does is before you pass, you put assets into that trust. So you would change the name of your deed from your name to the name of the trust. Now, because it is such an important document, it's really important that you have a lawyer do the trust, because when you pass, the trust will then go as your legal document to allow the executor to handle any of your assets. So it doesn't have to go through probate. There's no extra probate cost. It goes directly into the trust. It's already there. And so the executor of the trust can handle things immediately. So they would need to create basically like a social security number for the trust, but that's within a couple weeks, maybe a month. So instead of going for 2 years without being able to dispose of the assets or take the assets and give them out, can happen rather quickly. So revocable living trust. Have an attorney do that, because that paperwork would need to go to financial institutions, and you want to make sure that it is really good and correct for it to go to those financial institutions to make sure everything goes through correctly. So one of the things that you might want to add to that living trust is to have a pour over will. So what a pour over will is all of those things that you hadn't put into the trust. So again, you would change your mortgage or any other assets like that. You would actually change them and name them to the trust. So a pour over will is all of those things like personal property and everything. And what that says is anything that wasn't already listed in the trust is going to go into the trust. So again, then it doesn't have to go through probate or anything else. Now, another couple of things, paperwork, that you may want to do that are not really the estate planning, but they kind of all go together with the estate planning process, is a durable power of attorney for healthcare. So what that allows you to do, and young people, you need these. If you want your parents to be able to have input into your healthcare, you need these. So what the durable power of attorney for healthcare says, that if you are incapacitated, so say for example you got in a horrible accident and you are in a coma. If you are 18 and you're in a horrible accident and you're in a coma, unless you have a durable power of attorney for healthcare, your parents cannot make a decision about your health care. So really important for all of you to do that if you want your parents to have any input. Or if you're an older adult and have adult children, if you want your adult children to have any input into that. Really important. You don't want a situation where they have to go through the court system to get that access, because again, long time, the court system is a long time. Another thing you might want to get is an advanced healthcare directive. Again, all of these can be done, either you can do them yourself, or they can be done with the whole estate planning with an attorney, which is what I recommend, because again, all right. So an advanced healthcare directive says stuff like, I do not want to be resuscitated if, I do not want to be resuscitated. I don't want to have someone give me CPR. If you're older, that may be a choice that you might want to take. You don't want to have that. Or advanced healthcare directive would be something like, I do not want to stay on machines. So that is you making that choice so that your children do not have to make that choice, or your parents or whoever do not have to make that choice. You've already made it, and it it gives them your wishes. And again, anytime this happens, when someone passes or someone's in the hospital, it's already a hard time. This is just making it so it's not harder. Because if you don't have this in place, it's going to make it so much harder for people in that situation. And then the other thing that is a possibility is a power of attorney for your financial things. So that would be if you were incapacitated, that power of attorney would allow people to take care of your financial issues. So say if you're in the hospital, they could take care of any of the billings. So this is especially important for those people who are maybe single parents and want their parents to be able to do that. Now, granted, you want to make sure it's somebody you trust. So it's somebody that you would be comfortable giving this to in advance and say, hey, look, if this situation happens, because you don't want someone that you don't trust dealing with your money anyway. So just say, make sure it's somebody that you trust to do that. Once you have all of your paperwork done, you get that paperwork to everybody who is involved and who would have a say. So if they're listed in your trust, let them get that information to them, even if it's an electronic form, so that you have multiple copies. Your paper copy, you want to put, if you have a safe, a fireproof safe, you want to put it in the fireproof safe, or with your other important paperwork in a fireproof container. So I hope that this helped you guys to really get an idea of what you need for that end of life talk with your parents. Again, I can't stress enough the fact that it will make an already hard time not be harder, because without this stuff, it would be even infinitely harder process, longer process, and in the case of probate, it would cost quite a bit of money. So still looking for those pockets of joy. So if you do have any happy faces that you want to send me, send them to ahappyadults@gmail.com. Please, again, let me know what things you guys want to see, because I want to help you guys out. And just remember, anything that gets thrown at you this week, you have the strength to deal with it, no matter what it is. Sending out lots of love.